Report in.
Red 10 standing by.
Red 7 standing by.
Red 3 standing by.
Red 6 standing by.
Red 9 standing by.
Launch 2 standing by. Guys? Did anyone think that was funny? Oh god, how embarrassing. Oh well.
Greetings to one and all, it's your old buddy Jay here, coming at you with some more countermeasures goodness. This week I have another game changer for you. It is Star Wars Squadrons, which is the latest game from Motive Studios and EA, Electronic Arts, who they have released a new Star Wars game. Now this game is a dogfighting game where you essentially pilot either an X-Wing fighter or a TIE fighter, and you just go through various different missions and try and take out the bad guys, as it were. So I'm obviously wearing all this gear because you just had it laying around as you do, but also I'm a massive Star Wars fan, of course, and like all true nerds, whenever there's an opportunity to dress up, then why not take it? Now I have been through and played some of this game already. I started off playing it in 2D and thought it was, pretty good game in terms of, the response time of the controllers, etc., etc. But as time went on and this game been out for a little bit longer, I realised that actually, that it was probably better to try it in VR. So I did get my dust off the old PlayStation VR and started having a go with that, and then realised that actually it'd be even better if I used my flight stick. So I went into the loft and dug out a dusty old flight stick, basically that hadn't been used for about 10 years, and came to put it in my PS4. Obviously didn't work because I bought it for one game on the PS3 that I never ever used it for. So then I thought, well, actually it will probably be better if I put it all through the PC. So I put it through the PC and got it all set up and got the game up and running on PC, and got the flight stick worked all fine, and then as I'm sure there'll be some cuts shortly to show you how setting things up for VR on a PC is not as easy as it looks. Should have a setting here. Okay, it's that simple. What is happening? I'm talking to VR. Headset loses sound. Too much hassle. Look at all these. That's crap. So I then shortly afterwards decided that maybe what I might try and do is do a bit of a review while playing the game, which started off okay, but actually wasn't that great because I couldn't really concentrate on what I was saying and actually playing the game at the same time. So I've got like a VR helmet on, I'm looking around in space, I'm flying a ship, there's stuff happening, I'm trying to do the objectives, and I'm also talking about the game. It was just too much going on and I couldn't really do it, to be honest with you, so I'm obviously lacking in a bit of flight experience there. So what I thought I would do is just basically play that bit of footage and then just tag this bit on the end. Today I am in all of this gear because I am going to be trying out the Star Wars Squadrons game, and this does support VR, so I thought I'd get all of these wires and cables out and plug them into my head and play the game in VR, and obviously record the VR experience at the same time. And look, I'm down in the corner as well, so it should be hopefully this will all just work. I've got no idea if it's going to work or not, so what I thought I'd do is just kick the game off. I've got a Oculus Quest plugged into my PC, and then I have these headphones plugged into my PC for the mic, and then there's a problem with the VR sound switching over, which is a common problem apparently, so I also have another pair of headphones running up inside my headphones so that I can hear the game noises, but you can't, well, you will be on the recording, but not when I'm talking, thankfully. And yeah, basically we're just going to see how this goes. And I'm also rocking a flight stick, because if you're flying an X-Wing fighter, obviously you need to have a flight stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to play this and review the game and the design of it as I go. So let's see how we get on with that. Right, so before playing online, we recommend you practice. Now, I have actually practiced a little bit before. Not that my gameplay makes any go to fault. No, I don't want to do any of that. Let's cancel that. How do I cancel that? That's the other thing about this flight switch, is that this flight stick, is that there are about a billion different buttons. Right, so we're going into the story mode. We're going to continue the story. So the story of this game is that it takes place shortly after the destruction of Alderaan. And yeah, we're basically, actually the prologue does, but I think as things go on, it sort of skips in time ahead of the films. And yeah, we're just going to sort of have a little bit of a play and see what happens. So you can play this in 2D as well, so you can just play it on your normal monitor. But I thought, if you're gonna fly around in a spaceship, you might as well do it with your headset on in VR. So this looks pretty cool, man. So it looks like I'm inside a TIE fighter now. What is really cool, I mean, look at that, that's so awesome. So I've got the control stick, works as a normal flight simulator. So you've got your left controller, which moves you forward and faster and slows you down, and then you've got your right controller that does all the axis, and yeah, and then you've got your other triggers that shoot and do all that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty impressive, really. And the sound is amazing. The sound of the game is just pretty. I mean, the thing about growing up listening to Star Wars films is that all of those little, incidental sounds that you hear in the film sort of stick with you. I mean, you can see, like, inside, the design of all of this is pretty spot on as far as staying true to the franchise goes. I mean, you've got, all of this kind of, you can see at the top there, it's amazing. You can see out to space. I'm sure if my wife walks in now, she's just going to think I'm a total lunatic. But I do think that until, unless you've played VR before, you can't really explain it to anyone until they actually try and use it, because you can tell people something's immersive until you're blue in the face, but until you go and try something like this, it's just impossible to fully explain what the experience is like. Because I was incredibly skeptical. I got a PSVR a year or so ago, and I'd heard nothing but really good things about it, and I just thought, yeah, okay, well, maybe it'll be okay, maybe it won't, maybe it'll be a little bit naff. Yeah, and I got this headset and started having a little play with it, and it just blew me away immediately. I mean, the graphics aren't, on the PSVR aren't that amazing, but on this, they're just, I mean, it's incredible, really. It puts you right in the middle of the action. Now, with the PSVR, there's a little bit more kind of screen dooring that happens on the headset, and the screen dooring is basically where whatever you're looking at, you can just see a sort of rim of light running around the edge of your headset. That's essentially just the room that you're sitting in, the lighting from the real room, not the VR room, which can take you out of the experience. But with this Oculus Quest, I can see a tiny little bit down by my nose, but aside from that, it's completely and utterly, I suppose I should probably try and do something, stop talking. It's completely and utterly immersive, which is incredible. So what I'm interested in is that, aside from the fact that these games are so immersive, and the amount of design that needs to go into them is just unparalleled. I mean, for years and years, games have been built and programmed on the premise that they end up on a 2D screen in front of you. You know, that they would be, it would be something that. Let's get a bit closer to this dude, see if we can do what we're told. You know, that things would be on a 2D platform, so that was always kind of, you know, you never got to peek behind the curtain. But like this one, for example, we don't have to go on mission. We can just go off over here. You know, so look, so we can just follow this guy for no particular reason. If we want to, you know, or if you want to, we can just completely fly down here and change, you know, because there is no up and down in space. So obviously if you fly too far, it's going to take you out of the sort of gaming area, and it'll probably tell you to get back on course, stay on target, as the nerds would say. And you know, I do think that that is something that's pretty amazing in terms of immersion. Let's see if we can crash. You know, so obviously you can hit all of these things, which I'll try my best not to do. Yeah, let's hit this one and see what happens. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, obviously the contact is all pretty incredible, really. So someone's had to build all of this. You know, there's a working train system here. There's a you know, a whole great big space station that you're sort of flying around. There's a couple of ships. There's if you ever played the old kind of Star Wars flying sims on the previous, I think it was on the GameCube, it might have been TIE Interceptor or X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. Oh, I failed, retry from the checkpoint. So the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter game, you know, there's that ship there, which is on the left. That's actually a nod back to that, which hasn't appeared in any other games before, so it's all becoming canon. The sort of Disney starting to pull the franchises, you know, the key elements of some of these sort of franchises together. Is quite interesting. So yeah, we could fly into the sun if you fancy it. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do a little bit of gameplay now and just see, you know, how responsive it is, and just see if we can get a bit of action. So you know, the other thing is that you know, the Star Wars franchise has been around for quite a long time now, and they keep going back to these you know, filling in the tiny moments in between films that, you know, were always a little bit of a mystery and kept a little bit of a kind of, you know, a little bit of the unknown. You could sort of make up the stories yourself in your head, I guess, of what happened in, you know, between one film to the other, and now they're just kind of answering all the questions, really, which I think is something that they probably shouldn't really always try and do, because it does spoil a little bit of it. And I think, you know, the prequels, I'm not really sure they needed to be made. There's a little bit of fan service going on there, so that's fine. But then they obviously made the following 3 films, which you know, I was a fan of The Force Awakens, but I wasn't really a big fan of the other 2. They weren't that good, to be honest with you. Yeah, and then they just keep kind of churning out games. Now they have made a lot of games. Most of them are a bit pants, but actually the last 2 have been really good. It was this one, which oh, I'm being shot at. Let's turn around. What have we got here? Okay, so we've got some X-Wings we need to take down here, so let's take this dude out. Yeah, so I'm not always convinced that this franchise needs to keep on keeping on, but you know, Disney have got it now, so it will be around forever. Yeah, so the game itself, I mean, the design of it is amazing. I mean, these guys that are designing games for VR is just incredible. I mean, you can see from some of the footage where I'm sort of looking down at the dashboard and the smoke's coming up, and you know, the glass on the fighters is breaking because I've been attacked and my ship's damaged. You know, I mean, VR is such an incredible immersive experience, not just for gaming, but just for you know, a multitude of things, really, because it's not just the application that it has to play games online. It also allows you to potentially go to you know, there are museums and theatres opening up the opportunity to go and do things virtually, which I think is just truly amazing. So if you wanted to go to you know, to see a specific exhibition in Scotland, you wouldn't necessarily have to leave your house if it was a huge hassle. And at the moment, let's face it, it is, because because of the pandemic and because of everything that's going on with that, it's not very easy to get out and about, and people have been advised not to travel unless they absolutely have to. So the kind of the use of VR in that way is really, really interesting, and I think that it does allow you to access that information, those exhibitions, and those kind of different levels of entertainment, as well as this level of entertainment. I've always been a fan of gaming ever since I was a kid, and I've certainly been a fan of Star Wars since I was a kid, and I think they took this franchise and they really did it justice in this. I mean, it's a game like no other, really, because there were other games, like I mentioned before. There were like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, which was a very good flight sim back in the day, which everybody raved about and constantly compares flying games to. And now I think this might have just picked it at the post, because not only is it a good two-dimensional flight simulator in terms of the closest thing you'll ever get to flying an X-Wing, it also is an amazing 3D VR immersive experience where it puts you in the heart of space. And I think just from a progressive point of view, having played several different games that have attempted to do these sort of VR experiences, they tend to be tagged on the end of the games rather than integral to the actual game itself. And this is one of the first games that I've played where it really felt like it was designed from the ground up to be exactly this, the exact VR experience. So I'm really pleased about that, and I think that this is something that they should consider doing more of. I hear there's not going to be any DLC, and they've probably just EA have probably just told Motive Studios that this is it, there's nothing else coming out, this is just a kind of shot in the dark, thinking that there is a niche for it and a market for it, and hopefully this will push forward for maybe a second one or some kind of other version, other expansion down the line. But at the moment, like I said, it doesn't look like there's going to be anything else. I just really recommend it. If you can get your hands on trying this in VR, then I would absolutely suggest going ahead and doing that. Or failing that, just try and play it on the 2D platform, because it is well worth checking out. And obviously, as you can see, I'm immersed now. This is it. I'm just going to be dressed like this for the rest of the day. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. As far as the score goes, I mean, it's a hard one because you can't really compare it to any other sort of experience, really, because it almost needs to have its own scoring system. But what I would say is that I mean, it's definitely a 9. I mean, I'm hesitating to say it's a 10 because it does have a few issues going on with some of the abilities to immediately stop when you're flying and turn tend to feel a little bit unnatural, even though you are flying a spaceship around in space. There's a couple of immersion things when you're actually using the flight stick that there's the reaction time maybe could just be a little bit tighter, but that might just be my settings on the PC. So I'm going to definitely give this a 9, leaning towards a 10, but I would definitely say a 9. Yeah, get your hands on it if you can. So until next time, be good, stay safe, be kind to one.